Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We have got a special one in today. Now, this is the type of ones I really like. I like working on. We had a customer bring us this thing, and it's been sitting around until we got the time to make it do what it do, and today is the time. This is Chicago Coins Dolphin. Now, the reason I like working on stuff like this is because, in my opinion, this is a little more pure pinball. Nobody's collecting this because it's the one everybody says to go buy. Nobody's collecting this because it's worth a whole bunch of money. If you're collecting this, it's because you want to play pinball. So I love it. It's a 2-player, which is kind of cool. The 4 players are cool too, but they're heavy. The 2-player, usually you don't have more than 2 people playing, so a 2-player is usually just fine. And I like the colors on this one. Like light blue, pink, yellow, light green. Now, I'm not saying I like pink or nothing. I'm just saying, you know what I mean. But it looks awesome. I love it. The horn blowing outside is there's a parade going on right now. So it's fine. Everything's cool. Hey, I'll be out in a minute. They're blowing the horn for me. So, yeah, I really like the look of it, and I think the thing's in pretty good shape. It's yellowed on the sides. The customer assured me that he already tried a little bit of it, and he's going to clean that all right up. I think that's the end of the parade. But other than the patina, the nicotine on the side of it, it actually looks like it's in really good shape. So I think I'm going to enjoy working on this one. It looks like it has like a captive ball thing in the middle there. We'll look at all this up close here in a minute. But yeah, it also has 3-inch flippers. A lot of people prefer, they kind of stay away from the 2-inch ones. So I would guess mid-70s, Chicago coin, Dolphin. Back glass looks like it's in great shape, but we'll see. So very cool. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to set it up on a dolly so that we can start putting it together, and we'll go from there. So let me get a little pinball dolly, and we'll put the body up. All right, so we've got it on the pinball dolly. The way I do that is when they're standing up, I can't hold the camera and do it at the same time, but I just lift the dolly up, kind of slanted, lean the pinball back on it, hold part of it with my foot, and then so that it doesn't roll, and then just slowly lay it down. Right? If you're, I say this with all respect, so don't take this the wrong way. If you're older, heavier things are probably a little harder to move for you, so you might need somebody to steady it for you while you're doing it. Or if you're just a smaller person, so you're a little weaker. I'm 6'1", so to me, it's like it's just leverage, really. It's not really the weight because you're not really picking it up. You're just leaning it on the dolly and then making sure the dolly doesn't slide and slowly tipping it down. So it's not that big of a deal. And like I was saying, this one, since it's a 2-player, it doesn't have as many reels and things in the back. So the back box is a little bit lighter than some of the 4-player games. So it's not that big of a deal to pick it up and put it on the top of the cabinet. It's probably 50 pounds, something like it, maybe 60 pounds. And it's kind of bulky because it's just, it's probably 30 inches wide. But no big deal. Now, whenever you put the back box on, if you get it, usually on most of them, sometimes it's different, but if you get it lined up flat with the back, usually your holes will be lined up. And then there's usually a hole in the back box and then a hole in the bottom where all of the wires come through. Those usually line up. So if you move it around until they're about lined up, when you drop your bolts in, usually it'll be right in place. So, got that on there. That's step uno. So let's see what we got going on. It does have the back door, which was locked. That's good. The reason that's good is because it hopefully keeps some of the wiring from fading. Makes it a little easier to work on if you need to trace down wiring. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I'll work on. If all the wiring was faded, I'd still work on it. It has Chicago Coins kind of weird relays where they use a Bakelite spacer actuator. But they have nice long throws. See how long the blades are? So when this pulls in, it's going to move those a lot, right? Makes them easy to adjust. So very cool, very cool. This is before Chicago Coins started doing their boards that had like a card edge connector on it. This is more of like your traditional stuff. So this may be from the early 70s, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. This is coin unit step-up coil fuse. Replace only with 2 amp slow blow. And we got a little spider. All right. So yeah, all of that looks really good. They do have little PCBs like the other manufacturers, but they're still soldered on. Here is the back glass. I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, I think it's in perfect shape, and it's a good one. Like, it's a cool look. Look at the guy. He's like, oh, Flipper loves me. He's doing sign language to Flipper. Got the good-looking girls. You know, every back glass should have good-looking girls on it. But it's cool that it's got the pink that hasn't faded. That's just awesome. Awesome art. So the playfield, a little bit of planking down here at the bottom and a little bit of flipper drag. But a lot of this is just dirt that will clean up. And this gentleman, he kind of wants us to go all the way with this thing. So we're going to make it look about as nice as we can make it. We've got a list of all the stuff he wants to do. I'll see if I can find that list. I'm pretty sure Joey told me that he brought a list, that he got a list from the guy. But we'll see if we can find it. The art on the side is really cool. It's got Flipper on the side. Like I said, all yellowed from nicotine. Oh, and it does smell kind of nicotine-y. Some people, that drives them crazy. It doesn't really bother me much. I don't see a date on it. I'm going to guess early 70s. 70. Let me guess 72. 71. I'm going to say 1971. You know how you can tell? You can just look at the title of this video, because I probably figured it out after I shot this. There's a serial number. I don't know. I don't see a date on the art anywhere. So, very cool. Pretty traditional layout. You just got the 3 captive balls in the middle, I guess, that you're going to hit and knock back into those holes. There is some wear on that. So that'll give us something to paint. So I slid the glass off, get a little better look at it. That looks kind of cool. Interesting. It looks like that's the main toy of the game, if you look. There's really not much to hit other than the switches on the side. And then if you get it all the way back up to the top, you got the pop bumpers and the rollovers up there. All right, let's see what it looks like under the playfield. All right, so I put the coin box back in it. It has the chimes with the wooden blocks under the chimes. That's pretty cool. It has Chicago Coins plastic score motor cam. This is a big problem if it's messed up. Let's see if it's messed up. So basically what happens is it cracks underneath and then it's no longer attached to the motor. Really not an easy way to tell. Yeah, it's fine. So basically I'm trying to turn it backwards and I can't, which, well, no, that would have stopped me. It feels fine and I can't pull it off, so it's probably fine. It can be fixed if it is not fine. Lots more big throw relays. Bonus unit, ball count unit. But it has DC coils on some of the stuff. We have an elf looking in from outside. Our buddy Jordan's here. All right, so it has some DC coils, which means, in my opinion, my date of 1971 is probably wrong. Jordan, what do you think about this pinball machine?
It was pretty awesome.
Look at the back glass.
Hey, yo, that's a good That's a good back glass.
You see, you got the stamp of approval. Cool. So it's got some DC coils, which I don't think they did in 71, so it's probably going to be later than that. This cap and a bridge rectifier and a fuse. You've got some straight up hackage going on right here. I don't know what that's all about, but that don't look good. One of the flipper coils has been swapped. And got some stuff going on down here. There's a cap on that coil, and that looks like it's gotten toasty at some point. But everything looks like it's there. I think it can be fixed. Can you smell the aroma of it?
Yes.
It's got a little nicotine action going on. I was telling them that I don't really care. It doesn't bother me, but a lot of people it drives them crazy.
You get used to it.
Yeah. Little relay bank over there. But it looks really complete. The only thing I see is there is a coil stop here that you would think must go on some coil. But I don't... That would be on like a stepper unit probably. This would be to adjust how far the plunger comes out or something. But who knows? Maybe we'll figure out what that goes to. Alright, so that's what we're starting with. Very cool. So I called Joe and I said, look, you're supposed to leave me a message. Call me back. Let me know what's wrong with this thing. He talked to the guy. I wasn't here. Okay, and he said that he would start getting good notes. I'm tired of all this crap. Looks like he's left me a voicemail. Let's see here. All right, let's see what he's got to say for himself.
It's broke.
Oh, come on. On the phone? He does that to me constantly. Okay, so I called the guy and I got a list. Look, this is a list, right? So, after talking with him extensively on the phone, he wants me to order an owner's manual and a schematic. I said that was cool. He wants me to touch up the playfield, and then he wants me to clear it. I told him that was cool. He wants me to clear the whole playfield. I don't usually do that, but he wants me to, so I guess I will. We just spray paint it whenever we clear it, so, but we can do that. He wants me to get new pop bumper bodies. He wanted me to, quote, do the whole 9 yards. Well, that's cool. He said that the kicker coil needed replaced, and it was FJ22550. The kicker coil. Which one is that? I think maybe he's talking about this one. It does look burned up. There might be one or two more, but we'll figure that out. We agreed that since the back glass was so nice that we shouldn't clear coat it. So, you know, if the back glass is starting to flake, you can spray triple thick on the back of it to keep it from flaking anymore. But if they're in nice original shape, my thinking is, look, it's made at 50 years. Why mess with it? Leave it alone. It's doing good, you know. So I don't mess around with them if they're in nice shape. I just leave them how they are. Wants us to do the normal cleaning and service, replace all the bulbs, the rubber, and the hardware. I believe he also wanted us to some of these are on the other one, but I believe he also wants us to get new plastic posts and stuff like that. So we'll check in with him on that. But yeah, so first thing we need to do though is to get the thing running, and to get it running, we need to clean all of this stuff. So I'm going to take a vacuum and clean out all the dust that I can and get it as nice as I can. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to start cleaning these switches. Now, I can tell you just by looking at it, I see some problems already. All right. So this is what you're looking for whenever you're trying to work through these things. This very first relay here, it says ball count relay. That's an important one. See how the blades look all bent up and everything? Now on these Chicago coins, like I was showing earlier, they have this kind of Bakelite thing, and see how it's warped? That's fine, you can work around that, but see how the blade, the one is bent up and the one's bent back? That might not be good. You need to see if it still works. So when it's open, all 4 of these switches are open. Now when it closes, you want to get all 4 of them to close. Oh, we went too far. So see the left one? See how when the big switch hits the little switch moves? That's how you know it touched it, it moved it, right? Now this next one here, I don't believe that's even touching it. If it is, it sure isn't moving it, right? So see how the gap is pretty wide on this one, but it's still touching it and moving it? So you might be tempted to adjust that and go, well, you know, that could be a little closer. Don't do that. That will screw up all kinds of stuff sometimes, right? But this one, since you can't even tell if it's touching, that's definitely off. That one you want to adjust. Okay? So if we move over to the second one, this is the number 2 player control relay. So you can see that this switch is open and should close if this pulls in. And this switch is open and should close if that pulls in. But look at this. This is a make or break switch, and this is bent all out of the way. So the way this should work is when this is this way, it should be connected like that. And then whenever it pulls in, oh, I can get it to pull in, it should close the other way and open that, right? So basically what's wrong with this one is this is bent way back out of the way when it should be more like that, right? So when you go to bend them, you need to bend them down here, not up here. So remember on this one, they have bent it right there. That's not good. You want it to be straight. So you can usually just bend it with your hand, but they make a little tool that bends these as well, right? So see how that's more straight now? So now, whenever it pulls in, so it's just as easy as that. Now, the reason I didn't bend it down here is because I was correcting a bend that somebody had put up here. You know, they didn't design it where the thing should be bent halfway up the blade. Look, here's another one. What in the world is going on here? So this is all the way out. See how that little metal piece there is holding it? So it can't go out any farther. It's all the way that way, but it's not touching this. Sometimes when you see stuff like that, it's because the screws are loose on these switch stacks, but not usually. And they're not loose on that. So I see tons of these that are misadjusted. I wonder why that is. So the first one had one bent that wasn't right. This one has one bent that isn't right. Here is yet another one that's bent that's not right. Okay. Here's another one that's bent that's not right. See how that never closes, that never changes state? It's open and it stays open. I don't need the schematics, and you don't either, to know that that can't be right. Why would that switch be open and then stay open, right? So it must be that it's supposed to be closed, and then it opens whenever it pulls. So that one's messed up. So it could be that somebody's been messing with it that just didn't understand it. A lot of people get all worked up about that. That doesn't bother me at all. If I find stuff like that, that's a simple fix. I'm just trying to point it out to you. A lot of tech guys, they hate that crap. But really, in this instance, there's no damage done, really. You know, I just think it's interesting to point out. So I'll go through and I'll find stuff like that. If I find anything else interesting about it, I will show you. But there's like 3 or 4 different relays there. Let's see, this one's the 25-cent relay. And this one is the out-hole relay. That's very important, you know. That one's a big deal. So there's a switch that's normally closed on the out hole and opens at the end of the ball. Let me see if I can find that in the schematics and figure out what that is. Looks like it's the only normally closed switch on the out hole relay. So let's see if we can figure that out, because there's no way that's ever been working right. Well, we probably are going to have to buy those schematics soon, because the scan of the schematics on the Internet Pinball Database is really bad. Somebody just took some pictures and uploaded them, but you can't hardly read them. But that appears to be it. It's a normally closed switch on the out hole relay, I believe, best I can read. And then over here is a closed switch, a open switch on the tilt relay. So if the tilt relay was to tilt, that would close, and I guess it would keep the game tilted until the ball went in the out hole and the out hole relay came on, and then that switch would open and the tilt would go off. So basically, by that switch not being adjusted right, it made it where you can't tilt the game, or it wouldn't stay tilted, one or the other. So not too big of a deal for gameplay. All right, I think I got all those adjusted the way they're supposed to be. There's just some weird stuff going on here. See these little springs for that board there? So see how the board is up maybe 3/8 of an inch? All you metric people are just going to have to cope. That spring goes under it, the way it's mounted. Right? So if you go down to this end, they have the spring on top of it for some reason, and the board is down touching the mech panel. So I don't know what's up with that. It's like they've taken it off and then didn't put it back on right or something. It doesn't really matter, but you know that can't be factory like that. Something's wrong. It's all twisted. But you know, the relays will work in any position, so. And then I cleaned all of the switches on the this relay here. I mean, relay bank here. So they have little coils in there, and there is a little plate that is lodged on the back of this actuator. So if that plate pulls in, it trips the relay. The relay falls down to this bar, and it throws all of the switches. And it has a big throw, like it moves quite a bit, 1/4 inch or something. All of that seems fine. We may have some of those coils burn up or something. I think I've had some of those before, but I don't know. I don't know if I have on a Chicago coin. But now I'm on to these stepper units. So this is the bonus unit here. And it's very similar to, you know, the bonus units on a Bally or a Williams. They use kind of a generic board. I took them loose. They use kind of a generic board, so there could be other attachments here and here, but on this bonus unit they don't use that. And then there could be other rivets, and there could be other fingers, but they don't use that. Now this particular one seems all jacked up. We have a screw missing here. It just doesn't look good in there. So whenever that pulls in, it's supposed to drop behind that and then push it back when it goes back the other way. But it can't, because this is held in right now. See how that's way up? I mean, this is all screwed up. I don't know. Somebody's been screwing around with this thing. Alright, it's hard for me to show it to you because I can't take it out of the machine. Okay, so when this pulls in, see this bar here? See how it's up here? It should probably be under here. So that whenever this pulls in, it lifts this, which allows it to reset. but instead they've got it somehow above it. I don't even know how you would do that unless they disassembled it. So it could be that somebody, again, has taken this all apart and then put it back together wrong. I don't know why they would go through that much trouble, you know. Just weird. Okay, so I'm going to take some of the parts off and see if I can get it back how I think it should be and clean it up as best I can and see if I can find the screw that fell out of that coil stop, and we'll see where that gets us. Okay, so I took the coil off and replaced the sleeve. Now this thing is greasy, people, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's the inside of a pinball machine. It's the mechanical, the electromechanical inside of a pinball machine. I cleaned the plunger, put a new sleeve in it, and then they had this little black screw hold. Was the only one that was on it. I found a screw that fit and put it back in square, and I was able to just lift this to get that to go back under it where it should. And so now if you look, that is working properly, but it's not pushing it up far enough. So see, this little clip here should go over that tooth there to keep it from going backwards. So if that went just a little bit farther, like click, then the next time you push it, that little lever will hold it in place, allowing me to grab another tooth, right? So how do you fix that? Well, it's this little adjustment here. If this could go out just a little bit more, it would allow that to go that way just a little bit more, which would allow it to push the tooth past that lever just a little bit more. And that would be that. So we need to loosen that screw up just a little bit. This is the shaft that goes through it that makes everything work. You can see how dirty this thing is. You know, it's up to you how clean you want to get it, but you definitely need to get the middle part of it clean. Something that cleans this type of thing really well is oil. It sounds counterintuitive, like, oh, oil, you know, will make it dirty. Oil actually cleans really well. So like if you've got any 3-in-1 oil or something, that will take all of this grease right off of it really easy. Because that's basically what it is. It's old 3-in-1 oil or some kind of grease. So you rub a little bit of that on it, it will clean right off like water. It's magic. You get you some 3-in-1 oil, works good on everything. So that cleaned off most of the grease. Now you should have a little bit of grease where metal touches metal though. And it should be something heavy. The 3-in-1 oil won't really work for that. It needs to be some kind of grease. You can use the super lube stuff that we use or whatever you want. So this is nice and clean. I'm going to put a little bit more of that on here whenever I put it back in the stepper unit, because that's a metal bushing on this metal shaft. But once you get all the gook and the old grease, look at all this. Once you get all that off of it, it will work a heck of a lot better. Okay, so I took it all apart, put it all back together, and I cleaned up the disc, put some super lube on it. This is what you want. Go get you some of this. If you want to order some, there's some on our website. Go to lionsarcade.com, and we have links to a bunch of the stuff like this that we use in our videos on our parts page on our website. So there is a little orange marking on it, and so if it goes all the way back, let me show you how it seems to be working. See this rivet here? I don't know what that's for, so we're going to try to look that up. So it goes back again, goes back again, and it seems like the orange is lined up there. But see how we're not on these two rivets? And then if we go one more, that's as far back as it'll go. And you're kind of lined up on the rivets, but only because I hit it twice, you know. So like right now we're at kind of the orange spot, and then if I go back one more time, I'm going to do it real fast like the machine would. It doesn't perfectly line up with these rivets, so I'm going to look and see if those rivets do anything. if it needs to go back to 0 position and land on those, then we got a problem. But if that doesn't have anything to do with 0 position, then it doesn't matter. So let me see if I can look that up in the schematic. Well, like I said, this is the worst schematic scan in the history of schematic scans. I don't know how they did this. I mean, I don't know how this came out like this, but that appears to say bonus unit, and it says 0, 0, and there's 2 rivets kind of shown. So that could be saying that when it gets to 0, those 2 little fingers may have to land on those 2 rivets to connect something. And it looks like maybe it's the out-hole relay. Like that's what turns on the out-hole relay. So maybe at the end of the ball, the bonus unit counts back, and when those 2 fingers land on those 2 rivets, it'll kick the ball out. So we may have to revisit this after I get the actual schematics that I can read. And it could be, too, that it will just take an extra click of the bonus unit being reset for it to land on those little rivets. So I don't know. And you may think, well, why would it go past the orange marking? Shouldn't that be the 0 position? Well, sometimes what happens is that goes back, and then that opens up a switch or something. Like there's a little arm on the back of the gear that opens up a switch. Sometimes that is used to turn off a reset relay or to turn on something else or whatever. So it could be that it goes to 0 and then it steps back up 1 position at the beginning of the ball. But I don't know. We'll have to play it a little bit and just make sure everything's working right in that area. But this is something for me to at least think about. There may be a little bit issue there. All right, folks. So I got them cleaned, and they seem to be working right, both of them. So it steps up. It also resets. I also like to see if it'll reset from just 1 position or 2 positions. Because sometimes you'll get it where, yeah, if it gets up here, it can reset because of the spring tension. But if it's only up like 1, it might not. But I think I've got them good. Okay, and then the next thing that I looked at were these chimes. Check out this chime box. They have wooden blocks. It's very similar to any company's chimes. It just, there's a coil and a plunger that hits the bar on the top. I don't think I've ever had to work on any of these because the way they're designed, the metal doesn't clang around like they do on the other companies. So you get a nice little wood block sound on it. They sound a little different. We'll see how they play. Okay, so I cleaned all of the score motor switches as well. I don't believe that that cam is messed up. I think it's going to be all right. Hopefully, we'll find out. Adjusted all the relays. We talked about the relay bank. So now I need to do. Oh, I looked at the fuses. All of the fuses were correct and in the right spot. So I don't know, folks. Somebody was playing this thing at some point. Here's the knocker over here too. Knocker. So now we're down to Jones plugs. So all of these Jones plugs are kind of a weak spot, you know. If these get dirty and tarnished, you know, electricity's not going to pass through that. Come on, people. Come on now. So it does need to be cleaned up a little bit. So I use like fine sandpaper to brighten them up. Some people have told me that Brasso works good, but I don't have any Brasso, so I'll have to try to get some and see if it works all right. But basically, I got to go through and clean those. So you've got that one there. You've got one here. And then you've got all these little adjustments, too, are actually Jones plugs. So all of those need to be cleaned as well. But it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it just takes a few minutes. So it takes probably 15-20 seconds per pin. So let me clean some of those up, and then we'll be ready to pop the playfield back in this thing. So I got them all cleaned up. I popped the playfield back in, although we haven't touched it. And then I cleaned the ones in the back box as well and plugged them in. So all the Jones plugs are clean. Now, the other thing that I was thinking about is this coil stop we found. I don't know what this is from. Neither of those are missing it. There's no stepper unit on the bottom of the playfield. And then there are 4 in the back box, but none of them are missing it either. They don't even look like this on these. So, you know, that's how they do it on these. We messed with that earlier on the other one. It's built into it. So this screw that adjusts it, I don't know what that's for. I kind of think this doesn't even go on this machine. I think it just ended up in that cash box somehow. This customer brought us 2 games at the same time. Maybe it goes with the other game, which is a Gottlieb. So, I think. It's an airport. Is that a Gottlieb? We'll have to go look at it. Well, so I'll save it with his stuff, just in case it goes in that airport, but I'm not positive. It could be that it was somebody's attempt to work on that one coil stop that we found the extra screw for that was down on the bottom. So maybe, but whenever I find parts, I like to try to put them right back where they go, you know, but I don't think there's any place for this to go. Okay, so I'm going to carefully put the playfield down, and then we'll see if the game will start. It might not. We haven't done the player control unit or the coin unit or any of this stuff in the back box. But it might try to start, so we'll at least attempt it. So check, the other one is a Gottlieb Airport. So let's try to turn it on, see if it does anything, and then let's see if we can start a game. I don't even have a ball in it because I can't play it or anything. With this playfield is dirty, it might screw up the paint, and every one of the rubber rings is broke. These may actually eject out. We'll just deal with that left one. Let's pull that out of the way just so it won't hit it. Be interesting to see if those will eject. Again, we haven't done anything to the bottom of the playfield. They may eject at start. Nope. Very cool. All right, let's give you the whole show. I know some of you people hate when I turn the lights off. Well, I guess you're just going to have to hate it then. I'm not playing it. What a cool back glass. It's starting to get a little thin on Flipper there. They call him Flipper. What a show. God, that was back when they knew how to make TV shows. All right, so let me see if I can start it. Do we have any credits? It says we have 16 credits. Okay, so if it does a bunch of crazy stuff, I'm just going to turn it off real quick. And the first thing that it will attempt to do probably is reset the score reels. That sure sounded like everything worked, and it kicked the 3 balls out. So we'll have to imagine that the ball went clunk and landed over here. There's no switch. There's a runway switch up here that might do something. When I hit it, something clicked. And this says 1,000. Now remember, we haven't done any of this stuff in the back box. Oh, she wants to work. She wants to work real bad, people. 100. It's not working. Let's try the other one. Okay, they're not working yet. But yeah, we'll get them. This one might be 100 here. Let's see. Oh, that one works. Now, the chime sounding real dull, that's very deceptive. It sounds like the chime's messed up. The chime's not messed up. It's the 100-point relay is what actually makes the chime work, or something to do with that. So that's what's the problem. Let's see if it will flip. Oh, she'll flip. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, she wants to work. Very cool. All right, let's see what happens when you hit one of these balls. It looks like you hit, whoop, whoop. Oh, I was hitting that. It looks like you hit the advance button and the ball when you hit it, right? Oh, it lights it up. That's cool. So now that that's up there, very cool. Ooh. Ooh, same player shoots again. So I guess to get same player shoots again, you just hit those 3 balls? Well, that sounds kind of easy. Very cool. I'm gonna love this game. I like the colors of it the best, like the light blue. It reminds me of Marineland in Florida. Did you ever go there? Not SeaWorld, Marineland. It was in, I think, it was north of Daytona Beach. I can't remember what that city is that it's in. It may be North Daytona Beach, but it's not far from Daytona Beach, I don't believe. Lots of aqua. So very cool. All right, folks, so there you go. On the next video, we'll work through the back box, get all of that right, and maybe we'll have time to work under the playfield, get all that right. But it looks like the thing actually pretty much is working already just from servicing that stuff in the bottom. Now, who knows if it would have. I didn't try it before we cleaned all of that, but I think we're making really good progress. So leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Make sure to give us a thumbs up to for taking the trouble to film it for you. Remember, folks, we didn't have to do that. Hey, you want to know how you can help our channel? There is a link down below to Amazon. If you're the type of person that is willing to buy something on Amazon, you like how I phrased that? Then if you're going to buy something on Amazon, use our link. If you do, it gives us a tip. That's all you got to do. Just click the link and then buy whatever you're going to buy. A lot of people do that every month. We appreciate that. It gives us a little bit of your purchase, and it doesn't raise your price. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't get extra emails. You just basically, we're advertising for Amazon, and so if you do that, it tells Amazon that we sent you there. So we appreciate everybody that's done that, and we will see you on the next video. Now, one last thing. Be sure to check out my brother, Donnie. My brother has his own channel here on YouTube, also Joey's brother. My brother Donnie, I just call it that because I guess I should explain why I call it that. A lot of people don't get it. My brother Donnie is a very interesting person. He does all kinds of crazy stuff. He's always into something. Like he just picked up yesterday a truck that he's had at a shop for a year getting repaired. He's already took it back to the guy 3 times. He finally picked it up and it's fixed. So he kept at it for a year until he fixed this truck with 450,000 miles on the engine. Right? So I've often found myself telling people stories about something that my brother Donnie was doing, and I'd say, hey, my brother Donnie, blah, 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 my brother Donnie, blah, blah, blah. So we decided to name his channel My Brother Donnie. So go check it out. The link is down below. I'll see you over there on his channel. I'm over there a lot, but we'll see you back here in about 2 days with the next part of this beautiful Chicago Coin Dolphin pinball repair video.